This is the epic journey of Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Hello everyone, and welcome. Today I will take you on a new journey full of curiosities that you will not want to miss. Make sure you stay until the end, and if you like it, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe so you do not miss the next videos. Many centuries ago, when the ancient gods ruled the earth, there lived a mighty Sumerian king named Gilgamesh, ruler of the majestic city of Uruk in Mesopotamia. During his reign, Gilgamesh built magnificent ziggurat temples, raised high walls to protect the city, and planted rare orchards. But Gilgamesh was no ordinary mortal. He was a demigod, the son of the priest-king Lu-Gobanda and the goddess Ninsun. He was an extraordinary figure, much taller than other men, endowed with imposing beauty and extraordinary strength. However, despite his divine nature and prolonged life, Gilgamesh was not immortal. Despite his physical gifts, Gilgamesh was arrogant and behaved like a tyrant, proud and haughty, with no one daring to oppose him. He abused his power, demanding to be venerated by the people and ordering the construction of monuments in his honor. He seduced any woman who attracted him, without caring if she was noble or married. This behavior began to increase discontent among the people of Uruk, who began to despise the king. In their prayers, they implored the gods to free them from Gilgamesh's cruelty and laxity. The powerful sky god Anu took pity on them and asked Aruru, the goddess of vegetation, to create a creature capable of opposing the king. Aruru, using a portion of clay, created a hybrid being, half man and half animal, called Enkidu. This being had a primitive appearance, with a body covered in hair and bull horns on its head. Enkidu lived as a wild creature in the forests and plains of Sumer. He ate grass with gazelles and drank from rivers next to lions. All the animals knew and respected him, making him their protector. When Gilgamesh learned of this wild and strong man, he decided to send Shamhat, a temple priestess, to investigate and try to seduce him. The intent was to make Enkidu lose the purity that had been given to him by the gods through his encounter with the priestess. Enkidu was as imposing as Gilgamesh, and Shamhat quickly fell in love with him. After 7 days and 7 nights of passion, Enkidu became civilized. He learned to dress and eat like humans. Meanwhile, in the city of Uruk, a great wedding was being celebrated. As was his custom, Gilgamesh showed up and claimed the right to lie with his bride before the wedding. To the newlyweds' relief, Enkidu suddenly appeared in the crowd, led by the priestess Shamhat. Gilgamesh and Enkidu immediately began arguing furiously, as Enkidu found Gilgamesh's interference in a marriage based on love unacceptable. For the first time, Gilgamesh found himself faced with someone who could stand up to him, which infuriated him. Anticipating chaos, the crowd quickly dispersed, leaving the two giants to face off. Gilgamesh was the first to come to blows, starting an epic battle between the two demigods. For 7 days and 7 nights, they exchanged devastating blows, destroying many of the city's houses. Each punch they landed could easily kill 5 men, but neither would yield. As they fought, however, a mutual admiration began to grow. Eventually, Gilgamesh managed to knock Enkidu down with a decisive blow, but instead of killing his opponent, he reached out and helped him up. The two embraced, forming an everlasting friendship. From that day on, Gilgamesh changed. He became a more just ruler and stopped tormenting his people. Over the years, Gilgamesh and Enkidu traveled together through unknown lands, facing monsters and heroes of all kinds. However, one thought began to torment Gilgamesh. He knew that, despite their strength, they were growing old and would one day face death. He then decided to propose to Enkidu a new quest, to venture into the cedar forest, where lived the fearsome demon Humbaba, a creature so fearsome that even the gods respected him. Although Humbaba had never left the forest, nor done anything to provoke Gilgamesh, the two heroes decided to face him. When they faced the demon, they were paralyzed with terror. They had never seen such a terrifying creature. Trying to gather courage, Gilgamesh attacked it with his axe, and after a few attempts, managed to wound it on the side. Enkidu, with great alacrity, used a spear to complete the attack. Enkidu dealt the fatal blow to Humbaba's throat, ending the nightmare. However, before dying, the demon cursed both of them, predicting that one of them would die as punishment for the attack. Despite their extraordinary feat, Humbaba's death aroused the wrath of the gods. Gilgamesh and Enkidu nevertheless returned to Uruk, where they intended to celebrate their victory. During the celebration, however, an unexpected guest appeared, Ishtar, the goddess of love, beauty, war, and fertility. Despite her irresistible charm, Gilgamesh rejected Ishtar, explaining that he knew the terrible fate that had been reserved for all her previous lovers. Enraged by the bold refusal, the goddess swore revenge. She then turned to her father, the sky god Anu, asking him to send a mighty creature to destroy Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Anu, answering his daughter's request, sent the bull of heaven to earth, intending to devastate Uruk and kill Gilgamesh. The bull of heaven descended from the sky, bringing with it 7 years of famine and natural disasters, such as hurricanes and earthquakes, that devastated the city. The people of Uruk, in despair, begged Gilgamesh and Enkidu to save their city by destroying the terrifying beast. The ensuing battle between the two heroes and the bull of heaven shook all of Mesopotamia. Using the same weapons with which they had defeated the demon Humbaba, Gilgamesh and Enkidu faced the creature, and joining forces finally managed to kill it. In contempt, Gilgamesh cut off one of the bull's legs and threw it at the feet of Ishtar, who had been watching the battle from afar. Ishtar's humiliation only increased her anger, and the gods, outraged by the arrogance of the two demigods, decided that the time had come to punish them severely. After reflecting on the events that had occurred, the gods decided that Enkidu must die, since it was he who had held the bull of heaven by the horns, allowing Gilgamesh to inflict the final blow. A few days later, Enkidu fell gravely ill and realized that his end was near. Gilgamesh, desperate to see his friend in that state, called the best doctors in the kingdom in the hope of finding a cure, but it was all in vain. Enkidu died in agony in Gilgamesh's arms, who wept bitterly for days. The death of his friend brought Gilgamesh to confront his own mortality for the first time. The fear of death drove him to seek the secret of immortality. Determined to find a solution, Gilgamesh set out on a long journey, crossing mountains and deserts, in the hope of meeting Utnapishtim, the man who had survived the Great Flood and whom the gods had rewarded with eternal life. With the help of the ferryman Urshanabi, Gilgamesh managed to cross a vast lake of poisonous waters and reach the abode of Utnapishtim. However, to his great disappointment, Gilgamesh discovered that only the gods could grant immortality. Utnapishtim, however, told her of a miraculous plant hidden in the depths of the sea, capable of rejuvenating whoever ate it, prolonging their life. Without hesitation, Gilgamesh dived into the depths of the sea and managed to find the plant. On his way back, however, while he was resting on the shores of a lake and taking a bath to purify himself from the long journey, a tragedy occurred. A common snake, attracted by the sweet scent of the plant, devoured it. When Gilgamesh realized it, it was too late. In place of the plant, he found only the dried skin of the snake, a sign that the animal had rejuvenated. At that moment, Gilgamesh understood a profound truth. No man, however strong or powerful, can escape death. Accepting his fate, Gilgamesh returned to Uruk. For the first time, he saw how magnificent and enduring his city was. He understood that his legacy as a just and powerful ruler would be the only form of immortality to which he could aspire. He then decided to leave an indelible mark of his life, engraving his story, that of Enkidu, and their great adventures on clay tablets, making their name eternal forever. Thanks for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. See you in the next video.